right now. Pittsburgh's best sports show is about to begin. Call us or tweet us. We've got things to talk about on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome inside the Fan Cave. This is the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call, where hopefully by now you know the drill. Call 412-575-2600 and air your opinions about anything in the way of sports here in Pittsburgh. I'm Bob Pompeani, joined tonight by Andrew Fillipponi up at 93.7 The Fan. Now, Andrew, set me straight here, because originally this is a Chris Muller night, but I understood he got sick, and I was told Jason Mackey was coming in, and now it's you. So I had it all wrong, apparently.
Well, yeah, there was a communication breakdown somewhere.
Who's wearing the green dot? Who has the green dot?
Yeah, exactly. The Steelers defense knows exactly what we're talking about. Yeah, Chris had something come up, and
Literally
I talked to
up?
Chris, and he said, hey, let's swap, Chris and I. And so here I am. And I don't know how Jason got involved, but yeah, I just gave him the boot, Bob, I guess. So
okay,
here I am, ready to talk sports with you.
Great to have you in here, and that's what we're going to do here for the next 25 minutes or so. And we're going to start by talking about this game coming up, because today Aaron Rodgers spoke, and he did exactly what I thought he would do. He's been just terrific this year in handling everything, including media scrums on Wednesday, talking about his relationship with Green Bay. And I agree with this sentiment. He thinks if this game were in Lambeau, it would have been a whole different scenario for him. It's in Pittsburgh, but it wasn't like he was escorted out of Green Bay like he was in New York. So the New York thing had more of a revenge kind of thing to it. This one doesn't appear to be that way, but this is going to be a great game, and I'm sure he's going to be excited about it, and should be.
Yeah, I absolutely think it's going to be probably one of the more emotional games of his life when he gets out there and he sees the Packers, and he said today a lot of the guys he played with are gone now, and that's absolutely right. There's been a lot of roster turnover. The wide receivers he got used to playing with and throwing the ball to, many of them are retired now, and so, yeah, it's not as personal as maybe it would be if he had made this move 5 or 6 years ago to the Steelers, but I still think he badly wants to win it. I think he's so competitive, he wants this season, if it is his last one, to be kind of like a fairy tale season. And I think beating his former team that he spent 18 great years with along the way needs to be part of that if this is going to have kind of the storybook Hollywood ending that he wants it to have. So I think he's going to be extremely motivated. He's coming off, I think, in his mind, a really good game. And, yeah, all eyes will be on Pittsburgh for this one. And we can compare and contrast what he says after the game, Bob, because I feel like that's when the true colors really come out in Aaron Rodgers like they did post-Jets game.
Well, that to me was, you knew as soon as they won that game that was going to be how he felt. He didn't give it away. He's a veteran. He's been around, so he's going to provide any kind of bulletin board material for the Jets. And this will be the same thing, although I do not suspect it will be anything bitter afterwards. Although he would like to win, because if he does that, he completes the cycle of beating every team in the NFL at least once. And this leads us to our KDKA.com Connect Penn West University question of the night. And this would be if you would like to see Aaron Rodgers return next year. Jeremy Fowler of ESPN had something of that nature today. This is only, week 8 of this NFL season, so we're not yet halfway. Everything looks good right now, and he still has the arm strength. There's no question about it. His mobility is better than I thought. But that's an interesting question. Do you want him back one more year, knowing that they still need a future quarterback? And who knows what this draft is going to be like. The guys we've talked about early and often, Andrew, have not performed all that well. I'm just curious your take on this. And as it stands right now, given how he's played, if he wants to come back, I would say yes.
Well, I would have said yes 6 games into Russell Wilson's Steelers career as well. He was 5-1. He was coming off, after 6 games, his best game against the Bengals, in which he threw for over 400 yards and scored 44 points, and the Steelers actually went there and won. And I'm only bringing that up because, 6 games is more than a third of the NFL season, but it's also nowhere close to being a full season. And I think I learned my lesson from the Russ disaster at the end, not to want to make like preemptive calls on guys that are that old at quarterback. I want to see if they can withstand an entire season. So right now I agree. I mean, if I had to make a decision this very second, I would want him to come back based on how he's played through these first 6 games. But, you know, there's still a lot of tough games out there. One thing Aaron Rodgers did really well last year in New York was he put up numbers against average or bad teams. He really struggled against the good teams. And so we got to hope that that pattern breaks here with the Steelers over the next few weeks, because they might not be playing elite defenses, Bob, but they're playing offenses that they're going to have to keep up with and keep pace with, especially with Indianapolis in 2 weeks.
Well, I think these next 4 games are going to be, and this includes a rematch with the Bengals and Joe Flacco when they come here on November the 16th. So there's a lot of football left, and I agree with you, but I'm just saying if the decision had to be made now, and if things continue as they are, why wouldn't you want him back? He's a good influence. I would think on guys like Will Howard and whoever else they draft. We got a lot more coming up. It's 412-575-2600, so get on the phone, call us. We are live tonight, KDKA Plus and 93.7 The Fan. Back with your opinions next. Welcome back. This is our Xfinity tweet of the night, and it comes from Stathead. And this is interesting. We're going into the World Series where Shohei Ohtani just did something we've never seen before. But in order to really appreciate just how good Barry Bonds is, look at his career numbers to the left and Ohtani so far in his career. The WAR difference is stunning at Bonds 162.8. The home runs you know about, not listed on here, are walks. And Andrew, that's one of the things I always thought about Barry Bonds. He was one of the best at understanding where, you know, the plate was, taking pitches, not swinging at bad pitches. He worked the count better than anyone I've ever seen. And you look at these numbers, we talk about Ohtani as good as he is, but man, you forget just how good Barry Bonds is.
Well, Barry Bonds, I think, is the best hitter I ever watched as far as what he did over the course of his entire career. And obviously, when he got older, the power numbers went off the charts, and we know why that was. And I think a lot of guys were doing the same thing. So I'm not excusing that behavior per se, but I am saying that I understand it more because it was so pervasive within baseball. And I don't think he was the only person getting an advantage. And therefore, I think it was more of a level playing field than a lot of these baseball purists care to admit. Ohtani, though, pitching is just really the game changer. And I think the X factor in any debate about where he is among the greatest of all time, because he's been able to do both.
Yeah.
And if he's able to continue to do both into his 30s and prolong his career for anywhere close to as long as Bonds, I think he will go down as the best, because now, Bob, he's getting all the hardware too. He's winning MVP awards, he's winning World Series titles, and that's only going to elevate his place among the all-time greats of the game.
Well, he has 3 MVPs so far. Bonds had 7. I'm willing to say that he's going to eclipse that 7 the way he's going, and quite frankly, he should if he's going to continue to do both as he has.
But, Bob, you see this hand I'm hanging up?
Yeah.
There's a ring finger here. You know what Barry's missing?
Yeah,
That.
I get it.
No World Series titles.
I understand that, but that wasn't all his fault either. He got better as the postseason
Well, it wasn't the
went on.
Pittsburgh series.
In Pittsburgh,
it wasn't. It was here.
It was him. It was Van Slyke. It was Bonilla. They all did not do well in the offensive side of things early on. But when he went to San Francisco, he had some very good postseason numbers. The one number that Ohtani will never catch him in is Gold Gloves. 8 for Bonds, 0 for him, and he doesn't play the field other than pitcher, so I don't know how many of those he's going to get. Let's go to the lines, beginning with John and Cranberry tonight. John, welcome to the Sports Call. Go right ahead.
Hey, Andrew and Bob, thanks for taking my call again. I'm actually calling about baseball as well, the World Series coming up. I'm excited to see the series. I think the Dodgers are going to take it with their pitching staff coming into fruition with Snell and Ohtani and Glasnow.
Yamamoto, too. Don't forget about him.
Yeah, and Yamamoto. It's unbelievable, and it's going to be tough with the Blue Jays. But what I wanted to talk about today was the hiring of Tony Vitello. He was the Tennessee head coach who led the Volunteers to a college World Series title in 2024. This is the first time that a college coach has jumped to the majors, and I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on how do you think it might play out. My question, I guess, is will he have a struggle with the clubhouse as a manager with no major league experience coming in? So I'd like to get your Andrew's take.
John, that's a great question, and thank you for calling with that. I agree. I think the hardest part is dealing with major league egos. But he knows how to win. He's done it at the college level. This is not like college football where you see guys go, and most of them don't do well when they go to the NFL and have to revert back to college. I like this move, though, Andrew. I do. I think they're taking a young guy, younger by standards, and he's been through a lot in college, and I think they're looking at someone who can motivate guys and put together, teams that could be representative, not just at the plate, but in the field. His teams at Tennessee were very good defensively. So I think it's a refreshing change. I don't know if it's going to work or not because of what John said, but I like it.
Well, the whole situation in San Francisco is really kind of doing the opposite of what the rest of the sport is doing. So much of baseball is about finding the bookworm kind of brainiac, super smart guy to run the front office and oversee all the baseball operations and make it such an analytically driven game. Because so many teams have had success doing that, finding things within the margins, doing these deep data dives to try to get an edge that way on everybody else. San Francisco hired Buster Posey to be the GM. Buster was obviously a great player with those Giants teams that won those 3 World Series. I think he's more about baseball IQ than regular IQ. And it wouldn't surprise me if the Giants might be allowing their manager to make more decisions than other teams who basically dictate down from the front office, these are the moves we want you to make during games. So I thought about that. Like, that might actually be a very unique job, a very coveted job, because you have a GM who might understand to kind of leave a manager alone and let him do his thing more than the other 29 teams.
I think that's a very interesting point. Compelling you brought it up because you're right. That's not exactly the route you go to become a general manager, but that's exactly what they've gone. So they are going against the grain here. We'll see how it works, but I like the move. We'll see how it works out in San Francisco. Right now, we're going back to the lines. We have Jerry and Franklin. Hey, Jerry, go ahead.
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking my call.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Bob, I wanted to tell you I love your Facebook page.
Oh, thanks. I just put up what sports stuff mostly.
But it's really interesting. So
thanks.
A couple of Steeler points I'd like to bring up. The first is we all criticize, me especially, criticize Steeler offensive line early on. Feels like that they're actually getting it together and playing much better. I like having Washington as almost a 6th lineman. And the second thing is, when Freiermuth scored that last touchdown for the Steelers, I told my wife, he left too much time on the clock. Do you guys think that he should have slid there at about the 2 and give them a chance to eat up some more clock? Thank you, guys.
Well, given the way they're, and that's a good question. A lot of people thought that. I know it crossed my mind when he was doing it, but then I thought, you know what? Get in there. You never know how it's going to happen. I've seen also this happen, and it happened in a college game 2 years ago when that same scenario, it wasn't like a touchdown, a long touchdown pass. It was a run. But the guy slid, setting up what would have been a game-winning field goal until the game-winning field goal was blocked. And so it didn't work out, and he had a full reign into the end zone. So, yeah, I understand that, but no, I would have gone in the end zone 100% of the time in that situation. Would you, Evandrew?
Yeah, I would have too. I had no issue with that. I know what Roethlisberger said on his podcast. I'm going to respectfully disagree with Ben on that one. What was the first point that he brought up, Bob? Do you remember?
I think that was it. Just running down and getting into the end zone.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, then I'm pro what they did. It didn't work out. Your defense at some point. Now I know in that you got to react to what's happening in the game, and the defense was not getting stops. But I still think in that situation the right move there is to score.
Yeah, I agree. And the defense wasn't good. Although the previous Cincinnati possession, they did make a stop after Tomlin punted the ball to them, and a lot of people had an issue with that. But in that sequence, it worked to their advantage. The only problem was their defense then came right back and gave up free reign to those guys to get in the field goal range. Brad in Greensburg is next up. Hey, Brad.
Hi, Bob. How are you?
Good, thanks.
I have a couple questions. Do you think the Steelers will get a wide receiver to deadline and also a defense help also?
Defense help, they could use it certainly. I'm in the secondary for sure, I think. As far as wide receivers, I know a lot of people put out big takes like, A.J. Brown and Jalen Waddle's been mentioned. These are guys with big price tags. I think if they make a move, it won't be for one of those guys. You had brought up a long time ago, Andrew, Jacoby Myers, and I think that makes more sense if they end up doing it. I'd prefer that for a lot of reasons. I think he had a really good year last year, and I think he cost less too.
I still think Shaheed is the guy that ends up here, the New Orleans receiver. He's in the last year of his contract. I don't think it's going to take as much to get him. He's a guy that with the speed, I think changes how defenses play you because he takes guys with him, or if he's one-on-one, Aaron can get the ball to him. If he's even, he's leaving kind of thinking with that. So that would be, I think, just based on what it would take to acquire the player and what he could bring to the table. I think that's probably the best fit. Olave is the big name, too. You mentioned Waddle, which is right, and A.J. Brown, which seems unrealistic because of what happened last week with Philly. They're talking about wanting at least 2 picks for Olave, Bob. 2nd and 3rd round pick for him. I don't think I could do that for a guy with his concussion history. And then you're going to have to turn around and pay him because he's in the last year of his deal coming up.
Yeah, there are a lot of things that go into these decisions. He's a good player to have. You can get him. Saints are not going to be doing anything as far as playoff situation. So guys like that, guys on Vegas, they're available. And that, I think, Philadelphia, man, they got a lot going on here. They don't want to lose him if they can avoid it, and I don't think they will put him out there to be traded. We're talking about A.J. Brown. We got to take a break here. Pony, come back with more. It's 412-575-2600. Join us every night. We're here 7 nights a week on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. Bob Pompeani, Andrew Fillipponi back with you. Let's get one more call here. That'll be Anthony in the Hill. What's up, Anthony? How are you?
Hey, Bob. How you doing? I was just wondering what you think about the Steelers and how they're going to defeat the AFC North because of how they lost recently with the Bengals. What do you see about the 2025 season and how you think it's going to look for the rest of the...
Well, they're 1-1 against the North right now, beating Cleveland, losing this one. They have a rematch coming up in 4 weeks, and then 2 late season games against the Ravens. And honestly, Andrew, I think those 2 games, you can make a case the Ravens, given their schedule, although they have some tough games to end it, they could put themselves back into contention before they play those 2 Steeler games.
I mean, the Bengals could put themselves back in contention this week, too. All it would take is a win over the Jets. And if the Steelers get beat by Green Bay and they're an underdog in that game, Cincinnati's going to be only a half game out of first place, Bob, with the tiebreaker on the Steelers. So that's a dangerous situation there because of what happened in that game Thursday night, which they never should have lost. And as you know, I'm paying the price dearly for that.
You really are. And I commend you for making it a good event for breast cancer research, but I'm going to feel your pain, I think, when you go through that whole process. So good luck on that one. Your wife, what did she have to say about it? Or better yet, your daughter. She doesn't even know, but she probably would say,
no,
what,
she knows,
Daddy?
and she's made comments about it. Amanda, I think, is just really in a deep state of, shame right now over the whole thing. She's not a huge fan of it, Bob.
I tell you what, you could have made a better offering in terms of what you would pay up. The nipple piercing got a little bit much, and you were confident, I know, as was I, but that's what happens in sports. You never know. Pony, thanks. Appreciate it, as always. Thanks for pinch hitting tonight. We'll be back at you tomorrow at 10:35. Thanks for joining us right here on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. Good night.